Jack, where's your Superman review?
Where's your Superman review?
Jack, where's your Superman review? Where's your Superman review? Jack, where's your Superman review? Jack, where's your Superman review?
Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm reviewing my most anticipated movie of the year, Superman, directed by James Gunn, starring David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Nathan Fillion, and Isabella Marcet. The plot is Superman must reconnect his alien Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as reporter Clark Kent, as the embodiment of truth, justice, and the human way. He soon finds himself in a world that views these as old-fashioned. Now, this was my most anticipated movie of the year. This has come from someone who isn't a big Superman fan. I mean, if you look at the stuff behind me, I just happen to have a lot of Superman stuff, even though I'm not a big Superman fan, really. I just get a lot of Superman stuff because I'm a big DC fan. Like, come from someone who really likes what Zack Snyder was trying to do and the DCEU as a whole. So I was really skepticism about this, but I was excited to see what James Gunn could do with DC and the characters, and because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy so much, and he did such an amazing job work within the MCU with his 3 Guardians films and the holiday special. So I was really excited to see what he could do with big, like, not just Guardians, but like big characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. This movie jumps right into the action because I knew that we weren't going to get to begin an origin story, which I was happy about. And the 3 superheroes that we already know the backstories for that I'm kind of sick of seeing is Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman's origin. I was so happy that we didn't get an origin story for Superman in this movie. So this movie deals with more the sci-fi side of Superman's character, more than the realistic take of the character that Zack Snyder did in Man of Steel. And I love Man of Steel and what Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill did with that movie. But David Cornsweet is unbelievable in this movie. But no, David Cornsweet Superman, he is unbelievable in this movie. And I wasn't sold on him when he was originally cast, but as soon as I saw the trailers, you guys have seen my reactions to the trailers, like, I was like, oh my god, like, this is Superman. And I think it's really one of those things where, like, I was like, I think he's going to be a great Superman, and I wasn't wrong. He was an unbelievable Superman, and I think that that is a great thing that we've got now. And Rachel Brosnahan as Lois was really good in this movie. She played both the hard-edge side of Lois and the soft side of Lois Lane that we really that we haven't really had in the Superman movies prior. Like, we've had a great Lois in Margot Kidder with, I think, a pretty underrated Lois in Kate Bosworth, and we've had a good but underwritten Lois in Amy Adams. It's not her fault, it's more the writing and the direction they took with that character. But I think that if Zack Snyder did his whole did his sequels to Justice League and actually did like the whole like Batman and Lois relationship, we actually would have explored more of Lois and her character. But I really think that Rachel did an amazing job, and I love her Lois, and you're like, oh, you can play the loving Lois, and you can also play the hard-ass Lois Lane that, like, every Superman fan knows about, like, that hard-edge Lewis, and I really like that. Now, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. He is that portrayal of Lex Luthor that you want to hate. Where everything he does, you just want to be in Superman's position, and you just want to beat the living crap out of him, because he is such a comic book and faithful version of Lex Luthor, because we haven't really gotten any great Lex Luthor. To me, the best Lex Luthor we've gotten is Kevin Spacey, because I think that Gene Hackman was a good one for the time, but he wasn't really a Lex Luthor that's accurate. Kevin Spacey, I think, is underrated. Not that that's a great version of Lex Luthor either, but I think that he's actually really, really good playing Lex. I also think that Jesse Eisenberg I liked him more than some other people, but he is not a good Lex Luthor, which Nicholas Hoult is, and he nailed it. And it's really one of those things where, like, it's so good to have a new scheme for Lex Luthor in this movie, because this scheme that he does in this movie is totally different to what we've seen in any Superman movie before, and that is really, really good, and I really, really like seeing that. So, Cat Grant, I've only really seen her in the Supergirl TV show, so I've seen more of the Supergirl version of the character so I see her more as a Supergirl character than a Superman character. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like James, but it was very much like a thing where she was very different than the Supergirl version, where the Supergirl version was more of a Perry White kind of character to Kara, but this one was just more of almost a side reporter, if that makes sense. Like a side character who works at the Daily Planet, but she doesn't really have that leading role like the version in the Supergirl TV show did. And I think that is one of those things. And I really think that the version in the CW show was really good. I thought that it was an interesting choice to do a complete 180 on the character of Cat Grant in this movie. Now, speaking of characters, Miss Tessmacher, Eve Tessmacher. I really liked her in this movie. I thought that it was interesting that they pulled a character that we haven't really heard of in recent years, and it's like James Gunn was like, you know what? I really like Superman the movie. What about, I'm going to use Miss Tessmacher, but if we actually use her properly and explore her, she can actually be a really interesting character. So I thought that was interesting that he took the Miss Tessmacher character from Superman the movie and made her younger, made her more of a love interest to two characters, but did it in a way where it was like, let's write a version of her into this movie, and I thought that she was a complete standout for me. She was hot, she was sexy, she was such a different version of Miss Tessmacher that we've gotten in Superman 1 and 2, the Donner movies, and that it was such nice to see a new version of that character in this movie. And like, obviously, characters from and also like Superman's legacy is so expansive from the movie lore, from the comic lore, from like any version. So it was nice to see James Gunn actually write it into a modern day Superman movie. I'm excited to see where her character goes in future DCU movies and shows. This movie has some of the best action scenes that we've ever seen, to me. Like, the Christopher Reeve ones are great for the time, but they are like, but they're good for the time. They're not like good for like today's day and age. But then like Superman Returns action was really, really good. I really like the Superman action in that scene, in that movie. Like the plane scene, I really, really love. I really, really love the whole bit where he's listening to people all around the world and who he's going to save, and he saves a bank robbery. Like, I really love that action scene, and I love the whole action scene of the car going down the street and Kitty's in the front, and Superman catches it in the classic Action Comics #1 cover. I thought that was really, really cool. I thought that the Zack Snyder action, I love the action in Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and both cuts of Justice League. I think that he did a really, really good job with the action, and the best Superman action we've gotten. And I really think that the Superman action in all three of his DC movies are great, but James Gunn has an eye for action scenes. Like, you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and you're like, this guy knows action. Like, you watch any action scene from that movie, whether if it's a Sovereign fight from Guardians 2, the hallway fight from Guardians 3, the... God, I don't know, the scene from Guardians 1 where they're breaking out of the prison. Like, there's so many action scenes in those Guardians movies that you're like, James Gunn knows action. And I really, really love that. There are some cameos in this movie that I was happy to see. And it is just shows you that James Gunn is ready to set up his DC universe with some old and new faces. Now, what I do want to mention before I forget, before I get to one last thing, the costumes in this movie are unbelievable. Mr. Terrific looks like Mr. Terrific from the comics. Hawkgirl looks like a modern Hawkgirl. That suit looks good for this universe. The only costume that I don't really love, but I do like, it's the Superman suit. And I think that this is I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the suit now, so you know where I'm coming from when I do my Superman suit ranking. Like, I think that honestly, the Superman suit in this movie is amazing. I love the suit. The two things that I have about it, and I think it's just certain shots, it looks a bit bulky on David, and he has a collar, which, like, the rest of Superman's never really have that. Like, you look at the Christopher Reeve outfit, he just has like this, like a normal bit, but you can see all of his neck. And like the same thing with the Cavill suit, the same thing with the Brendan Routh suit. Any live action version of Superman you look at and you'll go like, yeah, they don't have collars. The collar shouldn't bug me, but it does. Only because of the other versions of the character that I've seen live action. Like, sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. I'm kind of half and half. Like, it's like the Trunks thing. Like, the Trunks in this movie I thought were great. I think that to me, the collar's the same thing as the, when people go like, oh, I don't like the trunks. But it's like, you need the trunks on there. I think that you could have got rid of the collar easily and not have done very much. The last thing I want to say is the music in this movie is unbelievable. I love how they use the John Williams theme in this movie. They use it in a way that is not like you're using the same music over and over again. They kind of interlace it with the John Murphy music that they have in this movie. Something that they didn't bother doing in the DCEU. And I love Hans Zimmer's music for that. But there's a way to do great themes, but still interlace their history in music in a movie like this. And I think that this movie did a great job with the music. And like, as soon as the movie starts, you hear those first few notes of the original John Williams theme, and you're like, this is what I wanted. And then when the action scenes pop up and you actually hear the dun 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 dun, you're like, oh my god, this is exactly what I wanted from a Superman movie in my day. And I really, really love it. I think that there are so many things in this movie that is just like, oh my god, how can we, I know, like, how can we do it? Like, how can we use this Superman theme from the 70s, but in a modern movie? And, like, it suits so well in modern day and in a bright, colourful Superman movie. I'm going to give Superman 4.5 out of 5 stars. I honestly think this movie is incredible. I don't know if I didn't know if I wanted to rate it high because it's good or because I was concerned about the movie going into it, and I'm still like figuring out like where I want to place it. But definitely really, really likes this movie. Why does this go off? Alright guys, thank you for watching. Please hit the like button down below. Hit subscribe also to the little bell icon to get notified of future videos I make. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.